All right, been waiting on these NOVSIGHT 3-inch pod lights. I've got the ditch lights and the fog lights. Packaging on this thing is absolutely phenomenal. If it says anything about the product, I can't wait. Now, once you take the top off, you got your detailed instruction manual. Pretty simple, plug and play. Tells you specifications, all that good stuff on this. Let's take a look at the actual lights. All right, this is your plug and play cords, waterproof, got a relay. These are set up to hook directly to the battery. Then it's got an LED switch that you mount. A lot of people don't like that it's hooked directly to the battery. I personally do. What about if you're having issues, you need a light, so on and so forth, you can't get the vehicle or ignition on, you can still run power to your lights. And let's be honest, if you run these with your vehicle off, regardless of what they're hooked to, it's going to drain your battery. Get to the actual lights, really good, sturdy construction and feel of these lights. Each light comes with an amber cover, which is great for fog, rain, snow. Then you've got a black out cover, which is great because you can put it on to keep any rock, dirt, debris, mud, whatever from actually hitting the lens. Here is the actual light. I don't know if you can see this, but it's got a nice hard plastic lens on it, which I prefer over glass. Solid construction. Comes with Allen wrench, all the mounting equipment to put your lights up. They actually give you 2 Allen wrenches, one on each side, which is great. In case you lose one, break one, what have you. Everything packaged up, very, very nice. Nice, good looking decorative metal bracket. Excited to put these on. What I've decided to do on my XJ here is I'm going to mount 2 the ditch lights up here on my roof rack. I'm going to drill through the frame, bolt the bracket on right here. Then I'm going to run my wires down my A channel. Same thing in the back for the fog lights or floodlights. I'm sorry. I'm going to mount those here or here. I haven't decided yet. In my roof rack, run the wires down the same. Zip tie those up, hide them, whatever, to where it goes down in the A frame over to the battery. Get ready to run those wires out now. Make sure I've got enough. One of the reasons that I want to do that is I don't want to buy a bracket to put them on, and I don't really want to make any holes in the actual body more than what I have to. So that's where I'm at on this one. The other box, identical setup. Like I said, just one's a ditch light and one's a floodlight. So I'll get started on this and then keep you informed of how the process goes. One of the things that I need to look at is I couldn't find anywhere on here on how much actual wire they have. So before I do anything as far as mounting the lights, I'm going to run this light wire as if the lights are already installed and make sure there's adequate cord. And then I can either, cut and splice and add to, or change location, which is probably more than likely what I would do. So stay tuned. All right, so after stretching the cable out, I'm going to be just a little too short to put the 2 in the rear. Thought about putting them on the front, but I want to kind of keep them high. It's the whole point. I have a tendency of burying the whole front end of this. I don't want to do that. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to mount them actually on my roof rack. There's that flat piece, so I measured it, divided it out to where I'm going to have even spacing across. I'm just going to drill through, put the bracket in, and then adjust the lights to where they need to be. And I'll probably put the you know, a flood on each side and the 2 spots or fogs, whatever, in the middle. So it's kind of what I'm doing now. What I did was I marked the distance, divided it by, I got 4 lights, so I divided it by 5 to allow for the negative space on the ends so that it's all centered. Put a line on it, leveled. Probably can't see it, I used a pencil, but I've got the bolt that holds the bracket on. I'm going to grab a metal bit and put them up there, and then I'll have plenty of wire. So kind of excited to make this happen. And with that roof rack being, you know, removable roof rack, these lights are not going to be, you know, permanent now. And if I decide later I want to move the placement, I can do that and create a bracket instead of rushing to put it together and drill it in my cow hood or whatever I need to do. So that's what we're going to do at this point moving forward. All right, so I drilled those out, got the brackets put up, still a little loose. I'll get up there and tighten them once I get them level. I think it's going to work out just fine. Once you get back here, you can zoom in. The spacing looks pretty good. Again, I've got to put a level on to level them up, and then we'll go from there. All right, didn't get any simpler than that. Got them up there. They're just hand tight, so I know they look uneven. It's because I have not adjusted them yet. I've got the brackets tight, hooked to the roof rack, but I don't have the center screws or the leveling screws set up yet or adjusted. I'm gonna leave it like that for now until I get the wires run. I ran the 2 floodlights on the far ends. So the driver's side far right and the passenger side far left are the fog lights, or I'm sorry, floodlights. And then in the center, I've got the ditch lights or fog lights, however you want to say it. So that's what I've got. I'm gonna start making sure I've got these hooked up and wired the right way, and then we'll get it squared away. Okay, got the lights set up, got them adjusted somewhat. Right now I'm currently in the process of putting a new fuel pump assembly in, so I can't pull it out just yet unless I'm gonna push it. But let me show you what I did in here. Hooked the controls up here. Got one label for fog, one label for flood. Ran the wires back. Got to finish up hiding those in the back, but for a source of power, since they run directly to the battery anyways, I had an extra slot on my fuse panel for my subs in the back, so I hooked it up to that. I'll show you what they look like in this environment. Okay, from inside the vehicle, I'm going to push just the fog lights first. You can see how bright those show up. Here is fog. Here is the floodlights. Here is both fog lights and floodlights together. And we'll do it again from the outside. We'll leave the fog lights on. Fog lights, which are too bright to be picked up on the camera. Floodlights, which are also pretty bright. Both fog lights and floodlights, totally different. So far, super impressed with these lights. Very, very bright, very low draw from the battery. Again, truck's not running, not draining the battery hardly at all. Extremely bright. This is my garage with the lights on. Here is with the lights off. Lights on, lights off. Again, with the covers on, look absolutely great. Then ran the wires down my roof rack, down through my back hatch. For easy access, put the controls here, labeled on which is which since both controls are the same. Ran the wires down my trim. That's on, off. phenomenal setup. I'm going to get these out, give them a little bit of abuse on the trail, see how they hold up, see if they come out of adjustment. And once we get this fuel pump in, we'll do a follow-up.